and welcome to the Walpole Business Spotlight Show. My name's Harry Bruchades, and I'm your host. The show is brought to you through the efforts of the Walpole Media TV and the Walpole Chamber of Commerce, which I'm also the president of. So the show is all about bringing information to the general public about local businesses, sales professionals, entrepreneurs, so the people in our county can make great buying decisions and get to know, like, and trust these people so they can make great buying decisions. So my guest today is Michelle Shnaider.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
And your business is called?
Healthy Life Health Coaching.
And right off the bat, that's not just what you do. You have a lot more experience in the health field.
I do.
Correct?
I do.
You're an occupational therapist.
I am.
Excellent. And I can only imagine that must be a real tough job in some circumstances, but very rewarding as well.
Absolutely. You get to see people sometimes at their worst, whether it's after surgeries or disease, but then through rehab and encouragement and just getting them back stronger, there's successes in being able to go back home and live independently or take care of themselves again.
Sure. So before we go into that, let's get to know a little bit more about you. You live in Walpole?
I do.
How long have you been in Walpole now?
It'll be 7 years in August.
And where were you before that?
I lived in Long Island, Levittown, Long Island, New York for 15 years.
Okay.
And then before that, I actually grew up and was raised in Western Mass in Feeding Hills.
Feeding Hills, yes, we spoke about that earlier. So that's out past Springfield.
Yes.
Wow, different world out there?
Very much.
Okay.
Very much.
So, growing up there, that brought you to going to college, and you went to Touro College for your master's degree in occupational therapy.
Yeah.
And from there, you started off in your career and was an occupational therapist, correct? So again, just elaborate a little bit more on that field and what you do there.
I've been an occupational therapist now for 20 years. My main focus is adult rehab and geriatric rehab. So mostly my career's been in either home care, subacute nursing, or assisted living facilities.
Okay.
Yep.
And again, living in Walpole, married?
Married. I have 21 years married, and then I have 2 teenage boys who both go to Walpole High.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How old are they?
16 years old and 14.
Uh-oh. My daughter's going to be 16 next month, so she must know them. She's actually out in the field doing cheerleading practice right now. So that's great. Congratulations on a nice family. So before we go into your story, I would guess that what brought you into becoming a health coach, you probably realized somewhere along the line, working more on the rehab side, that there might be something to being more proactive in life that leads you to this incident or problem, and then you're seeing these people after the problem.
Correct.
So maybe you can get to the root of the problem or the source of the problem, fix that so you see less people in your day job.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Great.
exactly right.
Perfect. So let's talk about why you started your new business. Or how long have you been in with the new business now?
It'll be a year this summer.
Okay. All right.
The official launch of the coaching business will be a year this summer. I think with most health coaches that I've met or people in more of a natural, holistic kind of way of healing, it starts with your own story. It's probably been now 12 years or so that I had my own health issues of chronic pain and going to multiple medical doctors, neurologists, rheumatologists, anything that ended in "ist," to try to figure out what was wrong. Chronic pain, couldn't sleep, couldn't move, barely functioning as a mom and working.
How old?
I was young. I was 30
Jeez.
probably. So, I had 2 toddlers and trying to work and take care of kids and wasn't doing real well. Going to a lot of doctor's appointments, kids in tow, and doctors saying, I don't know what's wrong with you. Testing me for all kinds of neurological problems. autoimmune diseases, anything they could possibly think of, to no avail. And the only thing doctors could say was, you have some inflammation in your blood. That was the extent of it.
So I did read that.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of inflammation in the blood.
Well,
I've heard
it's inflammation in your system, so it's circulating through your system.
So is that what inflammation? So, just so I'm getting this right, if something's inflamed because I sprained my ankle, it's inflamed because the blood is inflamed.
Well, it's inflamed because your body's going through a process of healing. So an acute inflammation is healthy. That's your body protecting you, increasing blood flow to an area, bringing nutrients and things to clean it out and to help you heal.
Okay.
Chronic inflammation is bad. Chronic inflammation, if your body is always in a state of inflammation, now you're talking about developing heart disease, you're talking about developing arthritis and neurological diseases, just because this constant inflammation running through you, bad stuff. So they do blood tests and they can tell you your inflammation levels.
Okay.
So I wasn't satisfied with that and just being handed prescriptions. That's not how I wanted to take care of it. I was 30 years old, not a lifelong thing for me.
Sure.
And that's where I turned to doing lots and lots of reading and researching and trying to find other solutions to heal myself and to get rid of inflammation without having to take a pill. And that's where my path started, was I healed myself first. Through nutrition, lifestyle choices, all those things. And then as my career as an OT has progressed over the years, I'm thinking, my goodness, 80% of the people that I treat, they're here because of lifestyle diseases. So, and that's where I went back to school. I've gone back for the last 2 years to become a coach and get some advanced nutrition for coaching and some advanced transformational coaching method training. It's very specific to be able to help people and to try to conquer chronic diseases. And again, like you had prefaced before, if I can see people earlier, then maybe I won't see them when they're 70 and 80. If I can see people when they're 30, 40, 50, maybe a new diagnosis, or starting to have some lifestyle issues, and intervene and do some education and teaching and new habits, they won't end up in the nursing home or the rehab down the line.
So that must, I mean, being in the medical field, that must have been pretty frustrating for you, that you weren't able to find a cure through that arena.
Well, their cure was prescriptions.
Was prescription. And, you know, we're all hearing about the over-prescribed environment. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, is up for debate. You know, is it the drug companies that are running the doctors and the hospitals, or is it the other way around? But I think we all can agree that the sooner that you get on medication and then the long haul, it is only going to affect organs and body that much worse.
Absolutely.
Versus, I mean, if you're a 75-year-old and it's starting to prescribe medication, okay, you know, there's not really a lot I can do to change my body really after all these years, so I might need to go on medication.
Sure.
But we do find that a lot of people that are now in their 60s and 70s, it was just take this, take that for blood pressure and heart disease issues, you know, in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and now this is all starting to come back at them with the other organs starting to be affected after all that 30 years of
I guess where I'm seeing people, because I do see people, the average age of where I work right now is probably about 85. That's probably their average age frame of the people that I work with. And some of them might be on 20 pills. And when you say, well, what are these for? It ends up being that you take one pill and then you have a side effect, so now you're taking another, and after a while you don't know what you're taking anymore, because one pill is just to mask another's side effects, and before you know it, they're having an appetizer of pills before their meals. And that's, it just masks, it's putting a Band-Aid on the problem versus really getting to the root of the problem.
So when you went and did a lot of the research for yourself, was there a aha moment when you realized it was the intake in the food that I guess that you thought was that root problem.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit more about that and what you had to change
Sure.
for your body to change.
For me, I've always been health conscious, and I competed in triathlons, and I've trained and all this stuff. So that typical healthy diet, high in grains, whole wheat grains, and all this, because it's good for you, and eat all your dairy and do all these things. But for me, after doing several different elimination diets and then putting things back into my system, what was healthy and being told is healthy was very toxic to me. So I do have to remove gluten from my diet and all grain products, because to me, if I eat them, within a day or two, I've got joint pain, like I'm arthritic, like I can't walk. It's very painful. So for me, I have to be very careful for that. I don't eat dairy, and again, it was more when I put it in, I feel brain fog. I don't feel good. So every person is unique, and what affects me might not affect you, but you won't know until you take something away and you let your body kind of get off of it for a while, and then you reintroduce it and you listen to your body. How am I feeling now when I put it back into my body, and start making connections of, am I drowsy? Do I have brain fog? Are my joints hurting? How's my sleep? So all these things, you actually have to start listening to your body and not just masking it with, oh, I've got a headache, let me take a pill. But say, whoa, wait a minute. What did I eat in the last 24 hours?
What is brain fog?
Just where you feel cloudy, you can't think, maybe having a hard time coming up with your words or completing a sentence.
Okay.
Kind of that, just kind of.
So having 6 to 8 beers the night before isn't an excuse for that?
Well, I guess that's one excuse.
Okay.
But if you didn't drink them before.
Yeah, well, I usually know why then. I'm foggy the next day. So another thing I think I might have read was taking processed foods out of your diet as well. And that's basically, as we probably always can imagine, the chemicals that are put into these foods. And did you mention that you're also into the organic side of things?
I am.
Okay.
Yep.
And again, another reason why get the chemicals out, just eat real food, right?
Exactly.
So when you talked about the milk, is that because of the pasteurization process, or if you were in a farm out in Feeding Hills, right? Is it Feeding Hills? And you got it directly from the cow, would that be the same thing? Would you be okay with that?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with, for me, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It was more how it affects my body.
The dairy
Some
part.
people you hear are lactose intolerant,
Right.
or my kids probably won't like this, but for them, they don't eat dairy because their skin breaks out.
Oh, okay.
So we don't do it because of other reasons. So many people, some people also, when you take away dairy and some gluten, some of their breathing problems improve. Not for
Okay.
everybody, but for some people.
Sure.
Sure.
So when I first started this show, I was always worried about, do you add 10 pounds or 20 pounds to the camera? And my mother said, don't wear light suits, Harry, because it makes you look big. But it's June 9th or 29th or something, so I had to wear a light suit today. But my point is that I grew up with an Italian mom, and it was all pasta, it was all bread, it was all cereal, it was just really great food, and this is why I am like today. But there's all these fads that come out, and I can tell you one thing that worked great for me, if you could stick to it forever, would be like the Atkins diet. If I pulled pasta and bread and milk out of my life, I lose 40 pounds probably in 6 months.
Right.
But you couldn't sustain it, and I couldn't sustain it. And then you've got your Miami Beach diet, you've got your all organic diet, whatever, gluten-free. So there's all these different ways to try to lose weight. But then it's more about sustaining that loss, correct? So let's talk about how you bring in a client and start the evaluation process.
Usually, I actually send them a email with like a questionnaire first. So that's doing a couple things for me. Number one, I'm seeing their dedication. Are they going to take the time to fill it out? Are they in? Number two, it gives me a little snapshot of what's going on in their life, whether they've been on multiple diets, if they're doing a very restrictive thing, if they have a lot of chemicals in their life, if they're taking a lot of medications, I get a general snapshot of their lifestyle that they've chosen to share with me. And then it's a phone interview, and it's a consultation, probably about 60 minutes, and we go through some of the things that they want to work on, some of their personal goals, and then I talk about how the program works. And then at the end of it, we decide if it's a match. One, I need to make sure that I feel that they're connected and they're in, and that they're ready for this type of work, because it is work. And then they also get to see my personality a little bit and how the program's going to work, and they get to make that decision if they're in and ready to do this.
So you talk about it's work for them too, of course.
Of course.
So let's talk about, I guess, the process now. So you've done an evaluation, you get a feel for their body structure or body type, or what might be the right foods or wrong foods for that person. Do you try to bring any type of medical information in or do they know that they're providing that information to you? Like somebody's telling you that, I'm pre-diabetic, or...
Yes, I do need to know those things.
You need to all those things. So they're signing privacy documents with
They
your
do sign
HIPAA.
a contract for privacy, yep.
Okay. So now does it start with diet? Does it start with an exercise regimen? Talk more about that.
It really depends on what the person is coming to me for. Some people may be coming because they want to lose weight. Somebody else might be coming because they're overstressed and they just got a diagnosis of prediabetes and they just want to learn how to get their blood sugar levels down. Somebody else might be coming because they can't sleep and they just need strategies on how to straighten out their life or learn some strategies of sleep. So everyone, it doesn't necessarily have to be weight loss. It could be a multitude of reasons why people are seeking coaching for wellness. It's not always weight loss.
Right, yeah, you're right, because it's health wellness. It's not just weight loss. Call Michelle. Okay. So when it comes to, like, say, a diet strategy or a food strategy, are you laying out to somebody, like, go on Sunday to the grocery store and buy this, and this, and, know exactly what you're going to be eating on a daily basis?
I do not give food plans.
Okay.
Like a meal plan. I don't do that.
Okay.
What I do is it's more about people learning to get a little bit more in tune with their body and strategies as to learning to listen and acknowledge what foods are making them feel good and bad. And I'm not big on telling someone they have to eliminate anything unless that's specifically what they want to do as an elimination diet. What I do is I ask people to add things in, and usually as you add things in, there's less room for the other stuff, so that they're not feeling deprived and it's a choice. Because if someone just tells you to do something, it's different than if you make the choice in the decision. And that's about making habits. It's a muscle we have to just keep building and making good choices as we go. I give them lots of information as to what are the best choices in a grocery store to make.
They say stay on the outside aisles, but
Absolutely.
do you notice that the bakery is there too now?
Yeah, because now the grocery stores are getting smart.
Because I'm like, well, I could grab this this bucket of chocolate chip cookies because they were made here at the bakery.
And they're on the outside aisles.
Right, other than the Chip Ahoy processed chocolate chips.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good, healthy decision, really. That remains to be seen. But you did mention how, foods that don't make you feel good, right? So I'm just speaking from my experiences, I guess. I don't have there's no foods that make me not feel good. Usually I go to foods to make me feel good. That's my problem.
Yep.
If I'm not feeling great or something, I'll go eat something because, chocolate makes you feel great, or Cheez-Its is a big thing for me while I'm watching the ball game. Usually for me it's like boredom sets in, so I'm munching on something. So if I can keep busy, I can stay away from that stuff. Or I always thought that if I stopped eating at 8 o'clock and never had another thing, that worked good for me too. But I try to go to the gym at least 3 times a week. Sometimes I only make it once, sometimes I only make it twice. So that can affect my week. But, I remember the last time I was at my past doctor for a physical, maybe 2 years ago, and I just recently had a new one because he left the practice. But he was just like, I don't care what you eat. It doesn't matter. Just make sure it's 1,500 calories a day, and that's it. And I was like, okay. And I wasn't able to stick with that. 1,500 calories is kind of tough for me for whatever reason. But, again, you get all bombarded with all this different who's right, who's wrong. So is it about counting calories? Is it about, like you just said, maybe adding some of the right foods or substituting the bad for the good? I don't know. What are the good foods?
I mean, I think I don't ask anyone to count calories. I do not count calories. I don't think it's a sustainable way of living, and people become obsessed with numbers, whether it's a number on the scale, a number of calories,
the Fitbit thing.
a number. People get obsessed with numbers.
Yeah.
I would rather people get obsessed with quality of their food.
Sure.
Because if you're eating quality food, then you're eating nutrient-dense food, and your body is getting what it needs, and it's not looking for something else. And part of a large, maybe even a larger part than the food of what the coaching is about why are you eating, and who are you being when you're eating, and why are you seeking those snacks? Why are you looking for joy in a piece of chocolate? What's missing in the rest of your day that you're needing to be filled?
Okay, let's not go into the psychology part of this.
But a lot of it is because like you said, there's over 100 diets out there. Everyone can give you a meal plan and tell you what to do. But if you don't figure out why you can't keep it and why you can't be dedicated to it and why you can't sustain it and get to the root issues of why you're self-sabotaging, then any diet will work if you can follow it.
I did have a good thought the other day about food and with me and probably others. And my statement was going to be like on Facebook or something, is that don't treat food as a hobby, because it is for me. You know what I mean? So whether it's picking out the best Italian restaurant or finding where the best seafood is, it's like a hobby. I enjoy it. It's awesome. I really need to kind of make it more of a gifting after a great week, though, probably, so do it once a week, get the best of the best, but then have the rest of the week be the good foods like you're talking about. So let's talk about good foods.
Okay.
You have to eat oranges and celery sticks, or what are good foods?
No, I hate to say good and bad foods. You know what I mean? There's healthy and healthier foods.
Sure, okay.
Good and bad is like this pull, and that might go from my therapy years, because we never say you have a good or bad side. Like if you've had a stroke, nothing's ever good or bad.
Okay.
So it's just very negative. So we try to stay more positive. So of course the healthier foods are going to be your organic fruits and vegetables. Part of what I teach my clients is, well, which ones do you have to buy organic and which ones can you just buy commercial? It's expensive.
Yeah.
It does get expensive. So, like the Environmental Working Group, it's a website. They come out every year with which ones you can eat commercial and which ones you really should go organic. And it really has to do with the level of pesticides and chemicals sprayed on the food, so that you don't have to go 100% in and you can budget.
What's an example of one of those?
Apples.
Okay.
Apples are one of the higher pesticide foods, grapes and strawberries for fruits.
Sure.
Spinach is another one that should be organic. So, and again, there's a website, Environmental Working Group, that someone can just look that up and see which ones are the dirty and the clean. And I do that for my clients. I give them the handouts and cards for their wallets. Your meat. Always buy the best quality. If you can buy grass-fed or pastured meat versus commercial meat, you're always going to get better products, because those animals they're more humanely raised. They're not raised on corn. So they're eating they're eating more of their natural. Cows are eating grass. Chickens are running around eating bugs and grass and things like that. So the better quality, if you're going to eat chocolate every day, great, eat it. I eat it. Why not? But get the better ones. Get the ones that are organic. Get the ones that don't have all the...
There's organic chocolate too?
There is.
Wow.
Because it doesn't have a lot of the byproducts. It's literally cocoa, sugar, and that's it. Very minimal.
Yep.
Look at your labels.
Yeah.
if you're going to eat potato chips, eat the ones that just say potato, salt, and oil.
They have those too?
Of course. Those are like the kettle cooked ones.
Okay.
You know, that 3 ingredients versus some of the other potato chips that might be multiple ingredients.
Whole paragraph.
Exactly.
Right? Yep. Interesting. Okay. I think I'll try some of those products. So, all right, so a client goes through their evaluation and they're on the plan.
Yep.
What do you, where do you see the results? What have been some success stories?
So the way that most of my programs are is it's a 12-week program.
Okay.
So it's a once-a-week phone call. I call them, no excuses. The car can't break down. Like, I make it very easy for people. So we call, we talk on the phone. I email them paperwork before so that they kind of have a gist of where the session's going, and they can do worksheets. And as we go through the call, at the end of it, they'll have like action steps, things that they're trying to work into their week. So results, I'll take someone, I just finished last night with her 12th session. So she came to me, she wanted to lose that 10 pounds. So the first 3-4 weeks, all it was about was she's telling me what she's eating and all these things. Very obsessed with numbers. And really what we came down to was, where is she going wrong? Her food that she eats beautiful. I mean, meticulous. I was like, wow, you eat better than I do practically. But what it came down to is every night she's getting up and she's eating, like at nighttime. And I'm like, well, what's going on? Well, she didn't really want to go to bed at that time. She wasn't tired, so she gets bored. So then she gets up and she's munching. So it's like, well, why are you going to bed so early? Well, it's just what I do. But it's not. So, and really it came down to she's turning to food because she was looking for joy and happiness and just something to feel good about for the end of the day. So all of a sudden things changed over and we just started working on her. And food became secondary. And we started improving things in her daily life. And now, like last night, she just was ecstatic about having confidence in herself, feeling worthy of herself, and knowing now that she has a voice. And now that she's feeling confident, she knows that as she tackles, this last 10 pounds, she's worthy of it and she doesn't have to keep sabotaging herself.
It's so interesting how at some point in our human development, and it's probably been more recently, where that food became, like I said, it's a hobby, or other people go to food for security or to feel well, where before it was just like, thank God I have something to eat to the first of the day, to go to work, work all day, and then I've got something at home to eat, and then get to bed early because I got to be up at 5 a.m.
Right.
It's just this whole, I don't know, change.
We live in an abundance.
Yeah.
We live in a world of an abundance of food.
Sure.
We're never without.
Right.
And as we've grown up, we've associated food with what? You get hurt, have a cookie. You have family over, eat. It's a wedding, eat. It's a funeral, eat.
Yeah.
Everything is associated with food, where food is no longer nourishment, but food is now happiness.
That's Big Brother behind the scenes again,
Yeah.
But we won't go down that road. So, we're almost getting close to the end. I want to quickly just, again, remind people, again, it's Michelle Shnaider, Healthy Life, Health and Coaching, right, is the name of the...
Healthy Life, Health Coaching.
Health Coaching. And how do they find you best?
So I do have a website, healthylifehealthcoaching.com.
Okay.
I have a Facebook page, same Healthy Life Health Coaching. And then also they can email me, michellemhealthcoach@gmail.com.
Excellent. And our viewers can also find you on the Walpole Chamber directory.
Yep.
You're listed there, and you've been a member for a little over a year now. Yep. So thank you for your membership. So quickly, any hobbies or fun things in life?
Right now, I do work full-time as an OT during the day, and I coach at night, and
the two boys,
a mom and a wife. So some of my hobbies have gone to the back burner, but if you drive by my house, I do have an organic garden growing in my yard.
Nice.
So I do the
gardening. So we can just come by there and pick something out?
Oh, sure.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
It was very informative and really great to think about the health of our residents and people at large. So again, thanks for viewing today. Again, it's all about getting to know people that we can know, like, and trust, especially when you're talking about nutrition and health. So I thank Michelle for that. And thanks for tuning in today. Be well, be safe. Have a great day.